my name is Mihu, and this is my 2012-2013 year in review. This year was pretty phenomenal for me. It's the year I went to university, it's the year I worked on a short film, my first band music video, I worked with much music. I mean, it's been mind-blowing. So let me start with summer of 2012. That summer I worked on a short film, Anomoly. I worked on my first band music video with Citywide Panic, a music video with Azim Hack from Z103, as well as my second promo with Eaden Myles. Let me start off with the short film. To wrap up any misconceptions about my short films, let me just kind of answer all the questions in one thing. I worked on 2 short films. Was called Project Shades, and that was something that took place in 2011. I worked with Andrew Markowiak, Samantha Bitar, Patrick Reed, and Jeremy Hardrum, and all of those actors were phenomenal to work with. I got a lot of my friends to help out on crew, and they were amazing. I'd like to thank all those people. It's really a shame, but because of complications that rose up between when we finished the film, which was really late in August, and the dead production time during the year that we couldn't really shoot because people weren't available, we unfortunately had to scrap the project. Once again, thank you very much, all the cast and crew for that movie. You guys were amazing to work with. It was really fun. The second film I worked on this summer in 2012 is called Anomoly. That stars Melissa Van Atier, Laura Burke, Kyle Collins, Richard Renaud, Garrett Cummings, and John Schubat. Unfortunately, the things that happened with that film was we ended up changing so many details from the script, which I know is a cardinal sin, that unfortunately we couldn't continue with the footage we shot from the first time. Then the second thing that happened was production schedules were kind of hard and we were hitting a really close deadline. Unfortunately, because of the project, Melissa Van Atier and Gary Cummings had to be replaced, and I'm sorry to both of those people. They put in so much work memorizing and just getting the essence of their characters in the film that I feel terrible having to replace them, and I'm really sorry about that. The actual production day we started shooting, we got about 25% of it done, and then the cops come, and we didn't actually have permission to shoot there. The building was condemned. Horrible news. Which meant that we had to do everything in about 1 or 2 takes. We had to rush everything, and nothing good comes when you rush. Unfortunately, though we did have enough coverage to do a full storyline, we didn't have enough that it would be a compelling story and that the edit would actually look good. And because of that, I decided not to release it. And I really hope that everybody that worked on it gained a little bit of experience, because though it might not have been the most professional set, it's a pretty accurate look at how really low-budget indie films work. Though I'm sorry about the way it turned out, I don't regret the project. The project was really fun. I learned a lot. Thank you so much to the cast and crew. Thank you for being great. Thank you for giving your 150%. And I really hope I get the chance to work with every single one of you again, because you are some of the most talented people I've ever worked with, and some of the most hardworking as well. That summer I also did 2 music videos, one with Azim Hack and one with Citywide Panic. Azim Hack's video was phenomenal. I'm so happy with how it turned out. We shot at the abandoned location where we did Anomoly at, which is how I discovered that place. We shot at this really cool studio in Mississauga, the Distillery District in Toronto. I mean, Azim was able to put together this really great list of locations, and it made the video that much better. I'm really happy that I got a chance to help Azim kind of start his music video career, and I'm sure I want to see bigger and better things from him from now on. Hopefully I can get the chance to work with him again. And yeah, that was a really fun experience. The next music video, one of the biggest of 2012, was Citywide Panic's first music video, and my first band music video. As you know, I'm really big on anything with guitar, anything punk, rock, anything like that. I'm just cuckoo for, to get a chance to work with these people who I actually listen to. That's one of the cool things about being an indie music video director. You have an indie band that you just found in Kitchener or Toronto, and you're like, hey guys, let's work together, and then you produce something like Citywide Panic's video. One of the things I discovered about that video though is that although we shot from a bunch of different angles, glide cam, frame, the dolly, various tripod shots, wide, close-up angles, everything, unfortunately it was not enough, because at the end of the day it was just one location. What I did was, when I started putting the video together in post, is I started using some new and old video footage I had on my hard drive, and this is where keeping all your footage comes in handy. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out and how that was able to help the song. Last thing I worked on last summer was my second video with Eaden Myles. Basically the idea of the promo is that your bride's doing a lot of things for you, so why shouldn't you do a lot for her? And essentially that's the idea of why you should wear suits and ties and things on your special day. And I think it's a really cool concept. It was really fun to shoot at this really fancy hotel next to the Pearson Airport. It was really fun to shoot at the church near Toronto. I mean, some really cool locations. It was something that I shot the very last day before going to York. That summer has been, packed with projects. I was just working the whole time. As soon as I got to York, I was like, oh, finally I can relax. Speaking of York, this was the year that I started university, that I moved away from home, that I started living by myself, and the FROSH was amazing, the people were amazing. So I get there and the university is flooded with cars, students moving in, the elevator in my residence is just jam-packed, it's ridiculous. The campus is just insanely huge. It was a crazy day. Eventually my parents left, I was all alone, I started making friends. I met all kinds of friends, and that's what the FROSH week was for. FROSH is this thing in university where you spend this week before classes actually start, and you're just going around partying, going on cruises, going to different field trips, and just discovering your city and what it's all about. Wow, it was amazing. FROSH was one of the best experiences of my life. I could probably say that FROSH week was the best week of my life. During FROSH, I met so many new people. My phone had contacts in it. I had no idea who they were. And names, exotic names that I had no idea how to pronounce at first. It's unforgettable, really. One of the first things we did with FROSH was we did the FROSH parties. And the way York works is divided into different colleges, and they each have their own party. You kind of get to know York a little better, you get to know the colleges, and getting around York a lot better. I was lost the first 2 months. Then went to various things downtown, went to a Blue Jays game where we actually enjoyed the college cheers more than the actual game. We went on a boat cruise, we went to Canada's Wonderland, where I went on my first roller coaster, Leviathan, and Behemoth, and nearly had a heart attack, but it was really fun. During FROSH week, I met so many people that I became friends with during the whole year. I met somebody from Romania, Australia, Ireland, Germany, a lot of people from Dubai, Pakistan, Costa Rica, Spain. Let me tell you, I've never seen so many accents under one roof. One thing I've learned is that Irish people from Dublin can't pronounce TH. Spanish people, or at least the one I met, sound like R2-D2. German people don't have that much of an accent. Australians hate it when you mispronounce Melbourne. But yeah, overall it was a really fun week. Having a room to yourself is really a blessing. I'm lucky that we had these apartment-style suites where we each had our own room, and that was awesome. Paper-thin walls, but you still have your own privacy. And it's a small room, but it's really cool to have some place that's your own. I'm a very solitary person, so for me that was pretty important. Of course, I didn't get a chance to work on anything for the first 2 weeks because I was so busy with FROSH. One of the really cool things that I got to do when I was at York was work on a video funded by MuchFact, which is Much Music's independent music grant. I worked with Nukky Grissom on his new album, If at First You Don't Succeed, Then Skydiving Is Not For You, which I think is a great name, on the single Walk On By. And what happened is we actually received funding for that back in August, and in about October we started shooting for that. It was really fun working on Walk On By. First of all, I got to hire a director of photography, and I got to get kids from York to actually help out in production, which was really fun. Having the resources of a film school and having people that are just kind of getting into it, and you can just say, hey, this is a great way for you to gain some experience. Do you want to come join me? You want to help out on this video? Was really amazing for the production. And I got a chance to have some people, you know, be grips and production coordinators and storyboard artists and all kinds of things, which just helped speed up production so much more. There was even one person, Becca May, who I would like to thank. She actually put me to work. I said, okay, I need you to be the production organizer and just kind of coordinate everything. And she's like, okay, well that includes you. And I'm like, alright. She's like, what do you have done? And I told her, very little. So she actually wrote down a list of things and a deadline by which point I had to get them done. And that helped me out so much. Look up at the schedule, I need to get this done here, here, here. And it really came in handy. One thing that was really cool about this video is that I got a chance to actually sit back and direct and not actually do the camera for the most part. There's a few shots that I took over, but for the most part it was my DP, Chance Nguyen, who did the camera work and just set up the lighting and everything. And he worked with the crew to make sure that all the grips were, you know, handling the dolly and the crane and everything properly. I would definitely recommend him for any gig you have in the future. And then of course Richard Knott, who did the glide cam for a lot of the work, especially the stuff with the kids in the park. We got a lot of footage for this one. It was really, really clean and really well done, as opposed to most of my videos, which are kind of just run and gun and, you know, you don't have permission to be there or whatever. It's amazing what a budget can do for your production. One of the things that left us with a lot of creative freedom was the fact that we actually had a budget for this. Usually I'm used to working with very low budgets or no budgets, because that's how I work. I don't like to focus too much on money. Having the funding from Much Music, having some kind of budget, really just put this production way over the top. We were able to get a lot more done because we did have a crew to help us set things up, because I did have a DP who had experience on this, because I had my own gear that I was able to bring onto this to have some really just better shots, especially for the crane shot on top of Queensquay parking lot. Just having the ability to take our time with this and just spend more time on the creative aspects as opposed to the technical and the budgeting sides of things just helps out a lot. I'd like to thank all the locations that actually let us work there, including the great people from the Tell building across at York University, the Balzac's Coffee at Ryerson University. I would like to thank every crew and cast member of that production. It was amazing working with all of you. Thank you so much for your hard work. You did a great job, and I really am looking forward to working with every single one of you again. It was an amazing experience. This past year was something that I actually wrote a blog about. You can check that out below. It was with John Tayles, and what happened was he contacted me. He said, I'd like to change the world. I'd like to do it through a song. He explained to me the project, and a few weeks later we found a studio and we started shooting. The idea for the song is, what would you like to see change in the world? And so he did a song about that, and he got people involved, and it's a big, big campaign which you can check out down below at www.wearereadyworld.com, where you can see the behind the scenes as well as the full video. This was a really big project for me. First of all, it was a lot of footage. It was 2 10-hour days. They were pretty extensive. Basically what we did is we got John and a few band members as well as his friends and just, you know, people that wanted to be in the video to sing along to this song, We Are Ready. The crane actually died on this shoot. I had to lay it to rest because it almost destroyed some of the equipment just falling down. And then after that we took it to post-production, and that's where it took a really long time because the screens had to be digitally projected with other footage, which ended up taking a long time, as well as, you know, just putting a garbage mat on the whole thing. So that took about 5 months of really hard work from myself and a team of compositors and editors, who I would like to thank very much for all their hard work, as well as my DP who helped light the whole video, John Bushell. Well, that was released on April 4th, and it's been a pleasure to see how well that video's done since. One of the really cool things this year was the 48-hour film challenge. That is not something you should take lightly. It was like a marathon of filmmaking, really. The top 3 trending topics on Twitter at the time had to be the criteria. And and they happen to be Justin Bieber, Paranormal Activity, and Halloween. Now Justin Bieber was the really tough one. Supposed to include him very clearly, but we couldn't use any of the songs from him, any of the videos, any copyrighted material, and yet it still had to really clearly make sure that he's in there. What we decided on was this concept to that this boy watches this video that this girl makes him watch. She's really into Justin Bieber. He's not. The video ends up possessing him and turning him into a Justin Bieber demon. At first she thinks it's great because he's getting into the spirit of things, but then she finds out that he can only talk in Bieber lyrics. And then she has this epiphany when she watches this TV. At the end there's kind of this moment where you think they're fine, but then he says, let's party like it's 3012, and turns around and gives the camera one of these menacing looks. That was what we came up with. The contest really put my skills as a filmmaker to the test, and I think everybody was kind of pushed to the limit on this. I can definitely say I'll do things differently next year, just as far as planning and just the strategy that I'm using for this. But it was really fun to do that this year, and I'm glad I picked people I picked with to work with. It was really fun. I mean, it was the first time that I had to actually worry about daylight because we went outside and started shooting out so late that the sun was going to come up, so that was different. It was a really great experience. I'd like to thank Kyle, Rebecca, Jennifer, Richard, John, Dave, Robin, anyone else I might have missed. You guys all did a great job. Thank you for being part of it. Oh, and Spencer, he's the guy that did the score for this, and without him, honestly, the project wouldn't have been anywhere near as decent as it was. I mean, his scoring, this is the guy I met this year, his scoring is impeccable. He's an extremely talented composer, and I would extremely recommend you look him up. This guy is going huge places. Aside from that, I've done a few short stuff here and there. I learned how to do time-lapse photography. I learned how to do HDRs as far as photography goes. You know, photography has always been a hobby of mine, and time-lapse is something I've always wanted to do. So I finally was able to get the intervalometer for the camera and learn the technique of HDRing, which as soon as I posted on Facebook it blew up with comments. Apparently people really like the HDRs. You can check those out on the website or probably on my Flickr, I don't know. There'll be some, I'll have a link down below. This year has been, I don't even know what to say, it's been a really great year of discovering things about the city of Toronto and about all these friends. Some unique experiences, just some things that I could have never done by myself, and I discovered Toronto in a whole new light. I went to places I've never been before. I've taken pictures and videos ways I've never thought of before, and just, you know, at school I've learned things that I would have not learned by myself. I met some of the most unique and amazing people I've ever met. I'm gonna miss these people. I want to thank all the people that have been part of my life this year. It's been an amazing experience. I've learned so much from all of you, and it's something that will be with me forever, really. It's been an extremely fulfilling year, but it's over now, and it was over like that. So what's next? This summer, I would very much like to work on a short film. If you or anybody you know would like to be involved in this, either with writing, acting, helping out with camera work or editing, post-production, anything at all, even if you're just interested in film and would like to watch, let me know. I'm very interested in people that are interested in film. If you've got an interest and you want to learn, gain some experience about short films, please let me know, and I'll make sure to get you involved this summer and stuff. Myself and John Shubat, who you're going to hear some big things about in the very near future. This guy's blowing up as far as his acting career is going, and as well as a host of other people are going to be working on at least one short film, if not more little projects across the summer before we go back to school next year, and I would really love for you to be involved. So if you're interested, please let me know.